She was at Sick Kids,
Okay.
but she, yeah, they don't do a whole lot with this condition because it is curable, and your platelets remultiply and you recover.
Okay.
But in a very, very small percentage, you can get a spontaneous bleed. Oh, tiny. Yes. Okay. Yeah. There's the tiny.
Yeah.
And she got a bleed in her brain.
Right. Okay. Because I keep getting tiny, like this little tiny thing that should have been. Thank you for figuring out. To me, she goes, "Tiny, Mom, tiny." And this is like that rare thing that you're, unfortunately, 1 in a million or 1 in a billion. It's like the lottery is easier to get than this.
You and me, chasing down forever after.
Hello and welcome to Grieving to Believing. I'm Deb Sheppard. There is no greater loss than that of a child, no matter their age or the circumstances. My mission, not only today, but over 2 decades, is to help parents and families heal from the loss of a loved one so that they can find peace and have their own connections to their loved ones that are on the other side. Today, I'm going to have in front of me someone that I've never met. I don't know her situation, but together we can learn to connect with the other side and know that you can have those connections as well. So let's just jump in. Okay. Hello there. Thank you for joining me. I see Cheryl. Is that your first name?
Yes, it is.
Great. Well, first of all, thank you so much for being here. And I'm very sorry for your loss. And the fact that you're here to be brave to help other people heal and know that there's a connection to the other side, I'm in gratitude for that. But it definitely sucks, doesn't it?
It does.
So I'm going to connect.
Not what I planned.
Yeah, absolutely. That's not what yes. So this is not how we're designed. So other mediums, we all have a different way of connecting. For me, I use all of my senses, and the biggest one is my empathic ability. So I feel things, and I will feel old or young. I will feel personality, like if they're angry or they were funny or they have a sense of humor. Things like that will come through. Usually I get a sense of how they crossed over, so whether it was unexpected or they were sick. And they like to talk about things that's happened since their death so that you know that they're still with you and that you're having that, feeling like that loved one is with you. They will also bring other people through so that you know who they're with, that they're not by themselves, those sort of things. They can also bring animals, and what I'm getting here is people you may not like. So if you had someone like, you had that aunt that just drove you crazy, she may show up, just FYI, so that can come through as well. And do you have a mother figure pass?
No.
Is there another aunt or mother-in-law here?
I have a mother-in-law and an aunt.
Okay. Who's the one that was sort of a little bit annoying?
The mother-in-law.
Maybe that's why I brought that topic up. Like maybe someone you don't hear from. Is she the grandmother of the child that's passed?
Yes.
Would she be a skeptic as well?
Yes.
Okay, so it might be her way of coming through to say, I'm here, I'm the mother-in-law, you didn't expect me, but guess what, I'm showing up anyway.
Okay.
Is Dad passed?
Yes.
Okay. Boy, was he opinionated too? Very strong?
No.
What's the who's the person that's really strong and opinionated that's a male in that generation? Would it be a father-in-law?
Yeah.
Okay, so people you didn't expect are showing up. That
Yes.
And I'm getting a father figure that's just like, not having it, And what they're telling me, are you not married to their son anymore?
No.
Because I feel the fact of maybe your husband was like them, their son, and they're apologetic a little bit for the way he behaved.
Oh, that makes sense.
Okay, so to me, this is a different type of how they're coming through and just say, hey, Cheryl, we get it. He didn't fall far from the tree. You did as much as you could to take care of the situation. You did, and there's a feeling of maybe they didn't understand why you divorced, or maybe didn't understand things, and they're just saying, we get it now. We just totally get it. And
Wow.
we are apologetic for, they're using the word drama, or I just don't feel like your child's father took accountability. I feel like almost this guy that gaslighted, or maybe even a narcissist, or didn't take that accountability. So
Yep.
they're bringing this up with them knowing the situation to give you some peace. And they're
Wow.
not going to go, you never thought you'd ever hear an apology ever.
No, I did not.
So this is just their way of coming through to kind of be a big surprise too.
Wow.
Yeah. What's your child's name?
Rachel.
How old was she? Because she's showing up. She's a strong child.
Yes.
Wow. And how old was she when she passed?
8.
Even at 8, I feel like this is a child not to mess with.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
And a feeling of, and way too young. I'm so sorry for this. I feel like this is a child that no matter what was going on, she stood up to herself. She stood up for everything. She didn't let things get to her. I'm seeing this fierceness of her. When you said 8, I'm thinking in her 20s. So this is definitely that old soul, that person that you're looking at her going, how do these words come out of your mouth?
Yes.
All these things. And
Yep.
it feels like this, definitely an angel in that sense too. Even when she came to this planet, I feel like she knew she had a purpose.
Yes, I do too.
And I feel like there's a great family energy, a great connection. And I keep seeing fairies. So this is my connection for her. This is fairy energetic life, but don't mess with her or tell her what she needs to do, right? She's doing it on terms. She says that from her passing, there's been so many different changes in your life, and that you have looked at life differently. She says also, people don't know your backstory. Like, people don't know what you've been through, and you never come up as the victim. You come through as this compassionate person, but you're not willing to put up with BS from others. That
Yeah.
because the loss of this child feels, well, it's devastating for her to be this young. My whole body hurts with her. Does that make sense too? My whole body hurts. Okay. And she's, is there something about the big bear or the big stuffed animal or the big, I keep getting the stuffed animal. Do you still have it, or is it a connection?
Oh, well, my son buried the bear with her.
Okay, so then she has this bear as that connection to say, yes, I got this. What's the thing with her hair? She's doing this with her hair.
Well, she loved me playing with her hair and brushing her hair.
Okay, so this is great.
And she loved to brush my hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did she also have some challenges? I'm confused with her. I feel energetic, full of life, and then my body hurts. So does that make, just yes or no, does that make sense?
Yeah, she had a flu.
Okay, so her whole body had that.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like an illness with her, and my whole body is affected by this.
Yeah.
Boy, she had a great imagination as well. It feels, and did she try to get other people involved in her imagination and story?
Yes.
Because I feel like she could be this director of like, okay, you do this, you do that, like in charge, and feeling like, okay, we can make costumes in our own way, or whatever the story is, that she could find
Totally.
creativity. She says that she could have worked for Pixar, is what I'm feeling.
Yes, yes, yes.
Creativity and that sort of just beyond. Was she petite?
No.
Why do I feel tiny? There's a.
Hmm.
Is she the youngest?
No.
Okay, I'm going to leave that with you, because I keep feeling tiny, unless there's something tiny that you have of her or that you carried with you. uses the word. So
It's
this
not,
is,
it's not coming right off the top of my head, no.
and I'll make it more from it. That would make more sense.
Okay.
Did she go septic?
No, but her platelets started attacking her antibodies instead of the virus.
Okay, so that to me would be a feeling of her body. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she should have been able to heal from this, because I feel like
Yes,
this is curable, this is fixable. And
yes.
the only thing I can think about Tiny then in this case is, did they not know what to do with a child that's had this? So was she not at a children's hospital, or was she at a place that maybe they didn't know what to do with her?
She was at Sick Kids,
Okay.
but she, yeah, they don't do a whole lot with this condition because it is curable and your platelets remultiply and you recover.
Okay.
But in a very, very small percentage, you can get a spontaneous bleed. Oh, tiny. Yes. Okay. Yeah. There's the tiny.
Yeah.
And she got a bleed in her brain.
Right. Okay. Because I keep getting tiny, like this little tiny thing that should have been. Thank you for figuring next to me. She goes, "Tiny, mom, tiny." And this is like that rare thing that you're, unfortunately, 1 in a million or 1 in a billion. It's like the lottery is easier to get than this kind of feeling.
Yes.
I feel like she was greeted by several. I feel like you've had a lot of people pass in your life, even though I feel like she's been gone a while though. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. So Rachel was a healthy 8-year-old little girl, and she died on December 2nd, 1998, after the whole family contacted a flu virus, and Rachel just wasn't recovering from that flu virus. And she got a condition called ITP, where your antibodies attack the platelets instead of the virus. And in a very, very small chance, you can get a spontaneous bleed. And unfortunately, Rachel got a spontaneous bleed. Now, typically with this condition, your antibodies your platelets, regenerate and you recover. But because she got this brain bleed, her brain was too swollen when they did brain surgery, and she was pronounced brain dead. It's very rare. After she died and people found out she had ITP, the common response was, well, you don't die from ITP. and you don't. Like, your platelets just remultiply and they're monitored. It's like less than 1% chance that you can get a spontaneous bleed, and even then the bleed can be repaired. So, but hers happened to be in her brain, and it didn't present the same way as it would if it had been any of the other organs. So it was just such a rare situation.
She shows me this imagination. She shows me this sense of never having a dull moment with her. Keeping you on your toes. Even a sense of the imaginary friend, or when we're eating, you may be making, I'm going to make it very different. Let's do it this way. There was always this sense of making things bigger than life. She actually
Totally.
to me like she would be the fireworks in any situation.
Yes, totally.
I don't feel like you've written a book about her, but is there a sense of wanting to write about her or her story?
I have written about her. I have written a book.
Okay.
I've actually published 2 books, and she's been a part of both.
Okay. I feel as if, Mom, more people need to know. Would that be your energy?
Yeah, hands on the hips, totally.
Yeah, I mean,
Totally.
like, Mom, and I feel like there's more in you for writing. So if this is your passion, something you want to do, I get this, like, Mom, keep that up, keep doing that. And she's talking about, I keep getting something about being famous or in the limelight or a photo shoot or magazine. Do you know what that's about?
Well, I was the national spokesperson for organ donation after she died, and did a lot of public speaking, radio work, television work. There was a documentary about her. I have been featured in magazines. Yeah.
So he knows this. Okay. She's then telling me, did you try to donate 7 pieces of her organs, 7 parts?
Yeah.
So she says that not everyone, not all of them were accepted, but 7 were donated.
4 were donated, actually.
What's
We
the-
tried, but some were rejected.
Okay,
Yeah.
so for her, she just says maybe 7, but there were only a few that were able to make it. Okay. She
That's
is
right. Yeah.
grateful that you did that, because she says that she is continuing in other people's lives, and that, I don't know if you stayed in contact with him, but I feel like as if he doesn't regret that hard decision you made to allow other people to have an opportunity. And so bringing up the magazines and stuff is about what you've done in honor of her. I'm getting chills. What you've done in honor of her, because no mom for an 8-year-old wants to do those choices. And she says, you stand up in a brave way, almost speaking that Rachel would want that. Like, you would know this.
I get that.
And she's also saying that, you said it went to her brain. Was this 36 hours that you knew you had to make some choices?
No, it was just like unfolding before
Okay.
our eyes. Like, yeah. I mean, and then when she was pronounced brain dead, I had to make the decision. But 5 weeks before, she had actually said to me, after I was reading a newspaper article about a little boy who had undergone a lung transplant, and she went back to playing, and then she said, she popped her head up and she goes, when I die, I want to donate my organs so I can save kids. So she actually had told me 5 weeks before, as a perfectly healthy little girl.
So she had that intuition. Wow, that's an amazing story. She's given me 36, so I'm not going to let that go. So
she's giving you what?
Number 36. So it's 36 days, 36 hours. She would be 36 now. I don't know, but she's telling me about 36.
I was 36 when she died.
Okay, so this is to validate what we're saying about her donating her organs and talking to you and what you're doing. And that she likes that platform, because she says with her passing and with what you're doing, you saved multiple lives. And that's why she says, you tell your story. People don't know the background. People don't understand what you've been through or what you do for others. She feels like a hero, a superhero.
I get that.
Was it her organ? I mean, her heart? Did they wanted to donate, or?
Yeah, her heart went into a 7-year-old girl. Her lungs were flown down to Pittsburgh in the US to go into a 14-year-old girl, and her 2 corneas were donated, one into a toddler and one into an infant, to give them both sight. She
just feels like she's part of their life. And I feel like family, I don't know, because I know it's different, but it feels like these families are really grateful to her and you. Do you actually have a bumper sticker, or do you have something that talks about, or a license plate that says donate or organ donor?
No, Serenity.
What's it called?
Serenity.
Is that in honor of her?
It was the Serenity Prayer.
Okay.
Yeah, that got me through some dark days.
Okay. So this is again her. She is a wild, loving, outgoing child. She should still be here. She is in her own way. She also says that she wants you to remember that you are her superhero. That there were times you thought about just being with her because it was so difficult, but you knew that that wasn't the path to go on. And I'm smelling her, so I feel like maybe her clothes or her pajamas or a pillow that you kept around you at times, you know, maybe in the very beginning. Was there a necklace created or something in a necklace that's about her too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she says, I'm glad you're not using the picture. Did she have like a weird haircut before she died?
Well, Yeah, yeah.
Because I feel as if, how I remember looking back at some pictures, I'm like, what was my mother thinking or whatever? But it's almost that kind of energy, like, wow,
Well, it was kind of what was she thinking, because she wanted it, and I was like,
Okay.
ooh.
That's
And she was
good.
so proud of it, and I was like, oh,
Oh, yeah.
you're gonna regret this later.
I heard her talk about education earlier, but I think the education is how you educate other people, not that you're in education,
Hmm.
that you're helping other people, and that's your job and my job is to help people understand that that's not your child anymore. The body is, it's the soul. And I feel like that's really important. She tells me that this is going to be a movie. I know there's a documentary, but I feel like there's more to her story. It's not over.
Hmm.
Do you know anything about
Yeah,
that?
there's been people who have said that this would be an amazing movie. And I know a girl that writes movies for Hallmark, and she said one of these days I'm gonna tell Rachel's story. But there was a couple of documentaries made about her. But yeah, one of the people that were involved in that documentary said that she'd love to write a movie.
Yeah. I don't feel like it's the documentary piece. It feels more of a healing in the Hallmark way, as we would say.
Yeah.
Always crying. She's okay with that because I feel like her life goes on and her memory goes on, but it's also helping people get a bigger understanding of this as well. And yeah, what do you want to ask her? What do you want to talk to her about?
Is she okay with Sean and his life?
Is this her brother?
Yeah,
How old is Sean?
30.
I feel like she's being the sibling going, he could be doing better. But she's also proud of him. Does he have a tattoo of her?
No, but he would like to get one.
Because I'm seeing one like on his chest.
Oh,
So
yeah, no, not yet.
he's telling him to get the tattoo. And
Oh,
it was Sean and Rachel's father not there during the time she was really sick.
they were both there.
Why does she feel like he wasn't really there for her?
Well, because they had a falling out, and she stood up for herself and refused to go with her dad because of his drinking. And I mean, when we went to the funeral home to make the arrangements for her, he got drunk and he didn't show up to the funeral home.
Okay.
And then he didn't show up to pick up the flowers, and he was going to contribute to the headstone, and then he didn't. So yeah, he didn't show up in that way.
So she says, when he got here, I kind of kicked him in the butt, Mom. And now it makes sense why his parents came through too, and to apologize to you.
Yeah.
What are you taking away today with this session?
That she is around, and that she knows exactly what's going on up until this day, which I've never really doubted. I've always felt like she's, I just don't feel like any of them are that far away. I feel like there's this veil and they're just right there. And so, yeah, it's been very validating and heartwarming to know that she knows everything, and she feels like a little hero, like I've always wanted her to feel. And she is, she became a poster child for organ donation, and I'm so proud of who she was, and I love that I carry on her legacy.
And she's proud of that. So I'm really grateful and honored that you were brave enough today to come on here and let me go into your grief and your sorrow and your losses and what you've been through, that I could be that bridge for you and the veil that we talk about.
Thank you.
Rachel was the kind of kid that was just going to take life by the throat. And I think Deb spoke about it, that, she was just bigger than life. And in any situation, she was going to make it a party or a big thing. And she was just always a life of the party. And
when she entered a room, there was just a presence to her. When we visited friends, like she'd gather all the kids together and they'd put a play together for us, or like she was just always bringing the kids together, and always the leader, and always just wanting to make the best of every situation. This was kind of a real moment for me. She was fretting about what she was going to wear when she met Jesus. I remember her coming home from Sunday school one day, and it was, all those little things just made me feel like she knew there was a short runway, and she had to make the best of every moment when she was here. And I love that she really embraces what I'm doing, and that she still is looking over at her brother and keeping an eye on him, because she was always very protective. They were only 19 months apart, and she just, we had to compete to be his mom. It was like, Rachel, it's okay, mom's got this. It was like she was the mama bear with Sean. And so I just love that she's still watching over us. And I think, and just all the things that Deb shared with me that she knows. It's like, you hope that she knows, but it was just very validating to hear that it's like she knew it was a tiny chance that she would die, and she knew that I was 36, and she knew there was other organs that we tried to donate. She knew that, she knew what was going on, and you'd hope that, but yeah, this definitely made me feel like she's walking side by side with me.
Thank you for watching Grieving to Believing. I'm always in gratitude that I can be the bridge between both realms to give messages from the other side. We hope you subscribe to our show and share it with others that are looking for peace from the loss of a child. Remember, even though our loved ones are on the other side, they are still by our side. I'm Deb Sheppard, and we'll see you next time.